Hey guys, Stephanie here with createfromtheheart.libby.com, and today is the watercoloring technique for the 18th video series of the March National Craft Month. And I'm going to be showing you how to do it with the coloring pencils and the actual paint. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up, and then we'll be back to get started on the work. Okay, so this right here is a sketch that I've done for one of this month's video series of the sketching and coloring in with pen. And it's not actually watercolor paper, but we're not really using the paint for this one. We're using the pencils, and although we use water for the pencils, but it ain't going to be real dramatic. Okay, so you'll need watercolor pencils. Here I'm using Artist Loft's watercolor pencils. You're going to also need brushes of your choice. For this one here, I'm using the number 2 and the number 3 detail brushes. That's got a pointy tip and a flat, real thin flat tip. You'll also need some water. So, go ahead and get started on this. I'm going to first use the olive watercolor pencil around the mountains of the not on the edge going up, but just the fact of going down across the line here, and maybe a little bit in the creases of the curves, but not a whole lot. So I'm going to go ahead now and just color that in and around here and down beside the river just a little bit. And then I'm going to take my number 2 brush, do it with just a little bit of water, and bring those colors on out until you're like blending them in and you're getting rid of the pencil mark, really. So I'm just kind of flattening it down a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and color on around the edge. And like I said, I'm not going to color this whole picture. I'm just doing a little bit of detail here and there to show the color contrast of the picture. So I'm going down beside the tower, going down beside the river, bottom of the tower, and just a little bit here and there of the grass. Just a light, sketch, not a whole lot. Like I said, I'm not doing this to actually color, just mostly to show where things lie. I'm still going across the bottom of the river. I'm going to go back over here and do the edge of the river here, and continuing that line until it goes off the page here. I'm now completing it off the page here. And I'm just going to kind of go back and color in on that side of the river like we did with the part over here. This olive, the reason why I chose this olive is because it's more of a natural looking grass. I don't like that bright green stuff, because it's the only kind of grass you get that's bright green is fake grass, so I don't really much like using it. And all I'm doing is still outlining the mountains between the towers and coloring in the grassy area. Now, taking my watercolor, my paintbrush, and blending in those watercolors. And like I said, it's not going to actually move the color, it's just going to blend it into the paper. It's not going to at all add or make that one drop of color spread or nothing like that. It's just going to simply make it blend into the page. I mean, it will spread just a little bit, but not a whole lot. So now all I'm doing is still smoothing out those lines. I love watercolor because, for one thing, it's not so vibrant. Sometimes I don't want my paintings or my pictures to be vibrant, so I use watercolor. And I love it because of that, because it's not vibrant. It's just pale. It very light and shows a little bit of color at all to the pages. Okay, so I'm going in with the Green Hill Tower. And blending it on in there. And I just barely get my tip wet on the brush. I don't even hardly submerge it in there at all. Just barely getting the tip of it wet. Now, where shadow is supposed to be at, I kind of make it a little bit thicker of a color. That way I can show where the shadow is supposed to be at. But sometimes it is hard to do that too with watercolors. And you see me, I'm constantly going right back in and fixing things and adding more colors, so it's okay though. I'm making this side over here just a little bit more darker because it's supposed to be in the shadows, but not so dark to where you can hardly, it draws your eye to that spot. So that's what I'm still doing here. I'm still just blending it and continuing with the olive green on the paper. I'll add in pieces of green here and there where I think that it needs to be. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. Okay. Now, another thing I'm going to be doing, now that I'm done with the olive green, other than the mountains, I'll get to that part later though. I'm going to be using ocean blue for the lines of the line of the river, and for the streaks in it to make it look curvy. But I'm going to be using both light blue and white to create the water effect. So I'm going to go ahead now and sketch the ocean blue around the edge of the river. Don't forget not to do the lines of the cliffside that we made, because we'll be doing that later. And then, just like I said, just do the lines of the waves of the current in with the blue as well. Then we'll take my detail brush. I'm not using the flat, I'm using my detail brush to smear that there all in, to work it all in. Now, I'm not really using this to bring out the color. I'm just blending it in, like with the green, how we kind of try to manipulate it to smear to make it more of a covering that whole area. I'm not doing that with this one. I am just keeping it blended with the painting. As well as someone doing the same thing for the stream current lines. I'm not even hardly using at all much water, and if I do, I will use that water, pick it up from that picture and paste and put on another piece. Okay, now like I said, I'm going to take in the light blue now and coloring not the whole river, but just throughout the river to give it its color. I'm going to be using my flat brush to blend all that out. Okay, now I'm going to be using the white at the edges of the bridge here and here in a circular motion to help make a little bit of, seems like foam or sudsy, whatever it is, to kind of blur it out more. You don't hardly see it much, but you will. Then I'm using my very fine detailed brush again to help blend that out. Okay. Now I'm going to take my gray and to do around the inner side of the edges of the castle. This may take a while, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish this out, and then I'll come back to you whenever I'm done. But just to let you know, I am not doing the roofs. I'm doing those in a different color, so just do the wall part of the castle. Okay, so I'm done now, so now I'm going to use my detail brush again. And I did not do the little blocks as well, but I did go around the windows just a little bit, not a whole lot, but just a little bit. The blocks we're going to be doing here, and the same color we're going to be doing the roof in. So this here is just mostly to help give a little bit of color to the towers, but not a whole lot. Do not get the inside of the window. That's part we're going to be leaving here white. I'm just adding a little bit of color here and there so it helps to blend it out and make it a little bit more looking to match the rest of the way we've been doing the painting. And all I'm doing is still just adding the water to the details. And like if I forgot a window or something, I'm just going back in here and adding color to that. Quit, Luke. Quit. Hold on, baby. Hold on. What? What? If you wet it a little bit too when you color, and it does help it to spread and blend in as well a little bit more, but it all depends on how you really want to do it. But just remember to make it a little bit more thicker on the parts that's supposed to be shadowed. Like if something's behind, like how this side of the tower here is behind this tower, you're going to want to make it a little bit more darker. So I'm just going to add my water here and there so I can bring out that darkerness with my pencil here. And I'm just going to use my pencil some more to help blend it in so it don't have those pencil marks. And this side over here will have a lot because it's completely behind towers. Okay. So now that we have that there, I'm going to take my black and I'm going to do the roof lining. I am not going to do each line of the little fish scale thing that we did. I'm just doing the lines of the tower itself. As well as you want to do the line of the windows and the bricks with this. But do not color the inside of the window. Now, doing only the inside of the window, not the, let me show you here. Not this part here is going to be colored, just the edge here and the edge in that. That's the only thing that's going to be colored, and as well as just shading in a little bit of the bricks. You don't do the lines, just shade it in a little bit. Okay. Hold on, baby. What do you want? What? Okay. There you go. And then I'm going to also help color in a little bit of the door here to give it its shade, but I'm not going to use the water on that right now. And I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, back to this. Okay, now I'm going to be taking my detailed flat brush for this one because I can use the edge of it. And I'm going to be doing the roofs, and I'm going to be pulling it black in just a little bit.
Yes.
So you'll see that you can still see the lines within that there. That's the reason why I love doing watercolors with over drawings, because it helps keep your detailed lines without having to color them with watercolor and losing the perspective of it. So now let's go in with the window. I'm just doing the windows with this brush. I'm not going to do the bricks with this brush. I am just doing the windows. Now, with my detailed brush of the point, number 3 brush, is when we're going to do the bricks. Just kind of like lines. And it kind of helps blend them all together and make it spots and stuff, so like it looks like the bricks. But like you can see, you can still keep the details of it, of the lines of the bricks. So the color just basically just adds the color to it. It don't really take away the whole detail. Okay. Now we are going to use the clay yellow color for the dirt, and I'm coloring it in.
Quit.
And then don't forget to go over it as well with the marks of the dirt we made in it. But I'm going to use my number 2 brush and bring that out. Okay. Now, for the riverbank, we are going to use the medium brown. So I'm just going to go ahead and go in and do my medium brown on my riverbanks that we made. And then taking my detailed number 2 brush and just blending all that in. Now for the rocks that's beside of the river, I'm going to use the gray and then color it before I use the water on it. I'm going to color it with white. So I'm going to go ahead and color it with, line it out with the gray. Just going to color it in there a little bit. Not a whole lot coloring it in, just a little bit. Then I'm going to take my white and color over top of it. Take my number 2 brush again and color over it. That white helps it keeps a subtle gray instead of it being such a gray. So now for the bridge, I'm going to do the same thing. Line it with gray. But I'm going to go also with a light brown and go outside of that gray that we just lined out. This is for the wood of it. And then I'm going to go across the lines that we made as well with it. Take my number 2 pencil and blend it all out. And then what do I do with that? Okay. Now for the window part of this here that we done, and the showing right here. Remember I colored this here gray, but I did not do it. I'm going to also use the light brown for it. So I'm going to sketch it. And then I'm going to color it, not all the way in, but just a few marks through it to help make it that wood color. Use my number 2 brush again and help to blend that out. Now for the window up here, I'm going to use the medium brown, the same one we did for the riverbank. And I'm going to, I wetted it first because I wanted this right here to be very vibrant. The lines inside to help keep it, oh, my paper started to rip on me there. To help keep its color really vibrant. Okay. And I want to go down the edge of this door with it a little bit to help bring that color down into the door some. So, there we go. Now, I'm going to use the light blue inside the windows of the castle. And take my number 3 pencil and blur it out to blend it in with the paper. So now after we do this here, all that's left is the mountains. And you don't want to use, I don't want to do the mountains gray because of where the castle's gray. I don't want to be so much gray, and stuff. So I'm going to also use this light blue and go in between these, the brown that we made. So what I said was I was going to use the olive green going into the depths of the mountain here and to the bottom to help line it out. So like right here, the depths, and into the bottom. Because mountains has got grass on it, just not the top so much of it does. But I'm not doing a whole lot of it, as you can see. I'm going to take my number 2 pencil and blend that there out real fast. Not a whole lot, just enough to blend it in with the paper. Now, I'm going to take that clay yellow again to kind of color the mountains from the green down here at the bottom. Kind of from the bottom about midways up of the mountains, not a whole lot. And blend that as well. Now I'm going to take my gray if I can find my gray, there it is, and do just the tips of the mountains where we kind of had the sketch of the lead at. And then I'm going to take my number 2 pencil and help blend that in. Okay. Now I am going to take my dark brown, wherever I seen it at. Now, dark brown, and color underneath the mountains just a little bit to help make it a little bit more grayish looking, but it's not so gray to where it's blending in with the castle. I'm just kind of adding some darker, but not leaving it that way of brown, so it helps just kind of blend it in a little bit more. I put my pencil in. I put my pencil in the water. Wow, how crazy! And where's that olive green at again? Here, let me do it this way. There we go. I don't quit trying to put my pencil in my water. Now all that's left is the sky. And I'm not going to paint it blue, but I'm going to put little sketches of the blue a little bit here and there, just a little bit of thin lines. I'm just taking my brush now and kind of help blend in them lines a little bit. Okay. And there you have it. A beautiful watercolor painting. Now, this is using the watercolor pencils, so I'm going to have a second video of the watercolor paint. So, don't forget to check out that part. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and check out my blog at www.createfromtheheart.weebly.com. Bye!